Incarcerated, you seem, it's like, okay, somebody chokes you, right? I know that's a bad example, but first thing you want to do is breathe. Things that you take for granted, opening up the refrigerator, getting your own food, spending time with your family, as he said, getting up to be able to go to work and have a job and do regular things that regular people do. I always said that prison is like next to being in the grave, because you boxed in. Same routine every day. You can read, you can work out and stuff like that. That's all good. It's the same thing over and over and over and over again on someone else's time. So life is great. So I got life is great, and anything. I always tell people that my best day in prison will never beat my worst day in the streets at all.
If there's a benefit, and I think Wayne touched on this, to prison, it's the appreciation you have for life coming out, right? So it's actually ironic that the things that you had previous to prison that you felt like didn't mean anything to you, right? So you wanted extra, you wanted more in order to do certain things, and then you go to prison for it, and then when you come out, all those things that you didn't, that you devalued before you went in, now has this high level of value. So life can be normal, right, for some of you, but for us, it's amazing. It really is. And my fiance and I, we talk a lot about, I've been home now for 12 years and I still have nightmares. I still have dreams. I still wake up sometimes and realize, and like shocked that I'm free. It still happens. It still happens. And even after all these years, and it's not just always a prison, like something's happening in the prison and you wake up and sweat. It can just be being in prison, just going through life in your dream. You're just in prison, just living your life. And then you wake up and you're like, oh, wait, that's not happening anymore. And it's recurring. And I don't think they'll ever stop. I honestly, I think that at this point of 12 years being home, they're still happening. I don't think they'll ever stop. But yeah. But life is great. Life is great.
I appreciate the question, and because I know it comes from a place of concern, genuine concern about how a person is doing. I'll start with the positive. I have a wonderful family and a great support system. I am blessed and fortunate to work for a wonderful man with a great vision at an organization, and I have fantastic colleagues who are all committed to the work. And I've been traumatized. And I'm deeply wounded. And I try to get better each day.
For me, I've never been to prison. I've always been free. My wife is sitting over here. I've been home 13 years. And we about ready to celebrate our 38th year of being married. I think of us. I never think of me. And the lesson that prison taught me was that while I thought that I was doing right, I didn't consider none of the robberies I did as robberies. I considered them collecting taxes for the debt owed for slavery. Literally. I thought I was doing the right thing. But what happened in prison is I began to understand the thought was I and not we. And so I spent my time trying to reach across those divides and constructs that other people have created and we just internalized. And so some of the types of things that I'm thinking about, with things I'm trying to work on, is how can we employ the entire prison population, take the value that they bring, all these lessons that we learn, and end homelessness for veterans and children. something that is extremely simple and doable, but structures are in the way. Policies are in the way. And so for me, I'm trying to surmount those. I don't have bad days. When I was in the hole, inside the penitentiary, in the darkest part of the penitentiary, when the police would come to my door and tell me, say, listen, man, Mike sent this transcript down here, he got a court order, he has to answer this brief within 30 days. That was the only time I would get upset, sitting there, oh, man, I'm down here in rescue. What's wrong with you bringing me this man's word? I need a break. So I said mine would be contrarian, because I went to prison with an appreciation of the bigger picture, how we were all connected, and how we don't operate like we all connected, and we not invested in each other's success. We invested in my family, my brother, and myself. If we just flip the script and make the effort, every time we encounter another human being, we come bearing gifts. So for me, that's what my role is in life. One heart at a time, one handshake at a time, one embrace.